WBNG TV. This is Action News at 6.
An entire level of a parking ramp for UHS Wilson Hospital collapses onto the first floor. Parking ramp located on Baldwin Street, right across from the emergency room entrance of Wilson Hospital. Action News has been on the scene since just after the collapse that occurred around 3:20 this afternoon. UHS Public Relations tells Action News it has no reason to believe that anyone was injured, but as a precaution, the Pichano wing was evacuated. Our Stephen Adams has been covering this collapse all afternoon. He's been on the scene talking with people and witnesses, and he joins us with an update. Stephen?
Candace, we do have new information to tell you this hour. We just finished talking to County Executive Debbie Preston and Johnson City Mayor Deemy just seconds ago. They told us they've instituted a localized state of emergency that's between Corliss Ave here and Main Street. It's basically a square block here in Johnson City, and they're asking people to stay out of the way. If you look behind me at what's going on, construction vehicles are now in the area. I can now tell you what that drilling sound we heard earlier was. That was a jackhammer. There was a car there that they thought may have had somebody in it, so they drilled down to check. No word yet on what the results were there. At this point, though, they're waiting for a structural engineer to arrive. That structural engineer will tell firefighters and first responders where to look, where to go, what to do so they don't cause any more collapses at this time. Again, the Emergency Field Operations Unit is on scene. Johnson City firefighters, Broome County sheriffs, and state police are also here. Now, just a little bit earlier, we spoke with Deputy Binghamton Mayor Jared Cram. His parents were here at the time. They were nearby. His mom told us what she heard.
Like just a very loud noise, very loud, and then the concrete just kind of buckled, came down, and then there was just a whole thing of like a concrete smoke, and then everything just settled and it was over. It didn't even seem like a minute. It seemed so quick we couldn't believe it.
Now, as you just heard Wallace Cram say there, she couldn't believe it. And that's the vibe we've been getting from all the other bystanders who have been here, too. The scene has definitely slowed down a bit, quieted down, but they're still very much working to make sure everyone here is okay. For now, reporting live in Johnson City, Stephen Adams, WBNG TV, Action News.
Thank you, Stephen. And Action News spoke with several other people on the scene who witnessed the collapse or have their vehicles parked in there.
The middle part came down. The other end, I don't know if it came down or not. I was frightened. And that's the truth. I was scared to death. I was very, very frightened. But the middle part, the cars came down with the concrete, and it was nothing but dust.
My Harley Davidson is in there. I decided to ride my Harley to work today, and there's a spot for motorcycles, and of course I parked it there, and there it is. So I have no idea as to, the condition that it's in at this point, but that's sort of inconsequential.
And again, UHS Wilson is operating as normal with the exception of one wing evacuated as a precaution. Again, the garage on Baldwin Street collapsed onto the first floor just after 3. And according to UHS, there's no indication anyone was injured. At least one witness told Action News people went to the garage and called out, asking if anyone needed help inside, and they didn't hear any responses. Broome County Sheriff's Office asking people in traffic to stay away from Main Street in the area of UHS Wilson. And the county also says that Baldwin, Arch, and Harrison Streets are closed right now. Fire, police, and village officials on the scene had no immediate information. There's no indication of what may have caused the collapse at this time. Action News will continue to bring you the latest information online and again tonight on Action News at 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock. Also this afternoon, one person has been stabbed in the chest in Binghamton on Main Street. It was just after 4. Dispatch reports indicated that a stabbing occurred in the area of 194 Main Street. Binghamton police are now looking for a suspect. The only description of that suspect is that he was a black male. The victim is also male. No description of him at this time. Action News spoke with a witness who said that he saw the man get stabbed in the chest and then fall to the ground covered in blood. According to dispatch reports, the man was taken to Wilson Hospital in critical condition. Police on the scene would not comment on the incident at this time. We will have more information as it becomes available. The prosecution in the trial for State Senator Tom Libous called to the stand an FBI agent who personally interviewed Libous on June 24, 2010. And that is the interview that Libous is accused of making false statements about his son Matthew's employment and how he would be compensated for it. Special Agent Robert Silvery testified that he and another FBI agent interviewed Libous for 20 to 30 minutes that day. Silvery stated that when he asked Libous about how his son became employed, Libous said he had no recollection and no deals were made to get Matt the job at a law firm in Westchester County. The FBI took notes on a pad of paper but did not record the interview as it was against FBI protocol to do so. Libous was not shown any documents to refresh his memory, just asked questions. Silvery stated Libous was very cordial and friendly throughout. The witness was not cross-examined today, but will be back in court when it resumes on Monday at 9:30. State police are urging everyone to obey trespassing and restricted area signs. This comes after one person failed to do so and rescue crews were needed to save the girl caught in a tunnel at the Whitney Point Dam. Our David Hermanovich has more on last night's tense rescue.
Candace, when state police got the call at 8 last night, they knew it was going to be a tricky rescue. The 14-year-old girl was trapped inside a tunnel at the dam as a result of swimming in a restricted swimming area. Troopers say it appears that the girl fell into the water and got trapped in the current, making the victim unable to swim out of the tunnel. State Trooper Donald Atkinson was not able to see or hear her when she arrived on the scene. All he could do is hear the teenager screaming from just inside the tunnel, and he entered the water. State Trooper Lawrence Gurdo, along with a passerby that entered the water and threw Atkinson a rope, assisted in the rescue. Trooper Atkinson noted how once he entered the water, he realized how hard the current had taken the victim.
I felt how strong the current was and the strength of the water. At that point, I thought maybe I get on over my head at that point.
By the Broome County
State troopers continued to talk to her and offer words of encouragement to the victim. And as rescuers lifted the girl's spirit, the girl also lifted theirs.
Listening to her, she kept me going. You know, I just kept on hand over hand on that ledge to get over to her.
The girl was transported to Lourdes Hospital to be evaluated for hypothermia and minor exhaustion. Her official condition is unknown, but Trooper Atkinson says he does not believe the victim's injuries are at all serious.
Thank you, David. A meeting in the village of Deposit addressed concerns as emergency repairs began at the Cannonsville Reservoir Dam. The New York City Department of Environmental Protection says there's no threat to the dam's safety, but as our Carrie Longabuco tells us, some people remain skeptical.
Understanding that people live below this dam all the way down the Delaware corridor. We don't mess around with things like that.
It was a discovery made several dozen feet below surface level. While workers were drilling for a future hydroelectric plant, they struck groundwater under natural pressure.
We believe that water is coming up through the ground and carrying some sediment into the West Branch Delaware River.
The DEP is taking precautions by increasing drinking water diversions and reducing the reservoir's water storage.
Behind me, you can see the dam that's undergoing the repairs. DEP officials insist that there's no threat to the safety of the dam at this time, but some residents here in Deposit aren't convinced.
I think there was a little bit of fear reaction in town. I mean, this town has been hit hard twice in the last decade by flooding.
And some are fearing for their businesses as well.
When we get the typical rain we get in the fall, it's going to really increase the likelihood of our crop fields getting flooded at fruition.
For now, engineers are performing daily inspections and the dam is being monitored 24/7. Officials say safety is their biggest priority.
We're aware of the flooding concerns downstream, but in our mind, public safety comes first.
Officials say the repairs should be complete by the end of September at the latest. In Deposit, Carrie Longabuco, WBNG-TV, Action News.
And there is another public meeting this Saturday at 10 o'clock at Hancock High School.
Team Rabbit live weather cam in Norwich showing a beautiful evening in store for everybody across the Twin Tiers. You can just see a few clouds that are slowly decreasing off in the distance there. But again, just a gorgeous evening. Get out and enjoy it. If you don't like the humidity, you're not going to like the weekend forecast. This evening, lots of bright sun, 77 through 9 o'clock. We're slowly dropping into the upper 60s to near 70 degrees, but we're dry all night long tonight. We do have some showers in the forecast, though. I'll tell you when we could expect those coming up.
Thank you, Howard. Still to come on Action News at 6. One admission ticket gets you into 3 separate museums. Action News is on the road in Cortland County with a look at how you can take a tour of the past. They can save lives every day on the job, but today they saved lives off the job. Members of the Binghamton Police and Fire Department squared off against the Endicott Police and Fire Departments in the first Battle of the Badges blood drive. One blood drive was held in Binghamton and another in Endicott. The friendly competition to boost blood donations is also a partnership with the American Red Cross.
I think it just shows that, you know, not only are we committed to the community, but we're here to give back as well.
And donors say they're excited to see who will bring the most donations in, but the Red Cross is the real winner in the end. We continue our On the Road series in Cortland County with a visit to a living history center. Our Julianne Pixoto explains why it's a place that appeals to people of all ages and interests.
Julianne Pixoto, and this week we're on the road in Cortland visiting the Central New York Living History Center. With 3 museums all in one place, there's really something for everyone here. Let's take a look inside.
The center was created because the 3 organizations, the Tractors of Yesteryear, the Brockway Truck Preservation Association, and the Homeville Museum, wanted to form a museum.
From trucks to farming to military history, the CNY Living History Center appeals to all interests.
One admission ticket gets you into all 3 museums. There's a little bit of everything for everyone.
In the Brockway Museum, admire actual Brockway trucks from throughout the decades, as well as employee memorabilia.
The Tractors of Yesteryear Museum is our agricultural museum, so that's tractors and farm equipment, and we also have an early American kitchen.
And for history buffs, the Homeville Museum will take you back in time with artifacts from major wars.
We believe that when you see it and hear about it, it's easier to remember the history than when you just read about it in a book, because you have nothing to relate to it.
And even if you visited the center before,
we change our exhibits every year. The themes all stay the same, but the actual artifacts themselves all change.
In Cortland, Julianne Pixoto, WBNG TV, Action News.
And next week, Action News will be on the road in Skaneateles. Well, Howard, here's something you most likely will not see here in our area.
Yeah, one U-News user recently went on vacation to Old Forge in Herkimer County and came across a pair of moose. They guessed the animals were about 7 feet tall.
They are very large,
They're
aren't
giant.
they?
Yep.
You can send us your videos and pictures using UNews on WBNG.com.
Thought it was cold this morning? Well, it was. In fact, it was record cold. We set the record. 49 degrees it got down to in Binghamton at the airport. The old record for today was 50 degrees. It's going to be cool again tonight, but boy, the humidity's really going to increase for the weekend. Details on rain showers coming up.
This is Storm Tracker weather, powered by AccuWeather.
No weather concerns this evening. We have a beautiful evening in store then tonight. We're going to see mainly clear skies. Some high clouds may begin to arrive. It's still going to be comfortably cool, although I don't think it will be as cool as this morning. We'll see the chance of some showers later on into the day tomorrow, Saturday. Also, the chance of occasional showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms as the humidity begins to build. Sunday will be very muggy. In fact, it'll be very warm as well. I do think we'll see a lot of dry time on Sunday right now. Could be a couple isolated showers, maybe a couple isolated storms as well later in the day, because Sunday will be the warmest day that we've seen in quite some time. Looking at Monday, a storm system will move through, and that will bring a good chance of some rain and some storms at that point. But look at the satellite and radar. Look at all the clear skies here through New York and Pennsylvania. Some high clouds back through, trying to sneak into western New York. Right now, though, they're having a hard time really making it even into Pennsylvania. So it's going to be a while yet before any of that cloud cover arrives here. Temperatures were in the low to mid 70s at this hour. And you can see the forecast temperatures as we move through about 11 o'clock tonight. Comfortable. We're in the mid to upper 50s. And then early tomorrow morning at about 6 o'clock or so, we're starting off in the low to mid 50s. Could be a few upper 40s. Can't rule that out. And by tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock, we're back into the mid, maybe upper 70s at that point. But that'll probably be about it for high temperatures as we move through the day tomorrow. Future tracker then tonight through 11 o'clock, we've got clear skies, no concerns. There's some of those high clouds drifting through, really of no consequence. We're not going to see any precipitation through 8 o'clock in the morning. Even through late morning or midday, we're still dry. But then as we get after about 3 or 4 o'clock, we could see a batch of showers moving in from west to east. So right about after about 2 or 3 o'clock, places in the Finger Lakes could see a couple of showers. Near Binghamton and east through 2 o'clock should still be dry. And then as we get later, after about 4 or 5 o'clock, a couple of those showers get a little closer to Binghamton. And then those showers will move off into the Catskills through later tomorrow evening. But I think there's going to be some folks tomorrow that don't see any rain at all, so definitely not a washout. 51 tonight, clear and cool with areas of fog. Tomorrow, 81 degrees. We'll see that chance of showers after about 3 p.m. or so. Heading into Friday, 81 degrees there, 83 on Saturday. A 40% chance of occasional showers, maybe a few storms. But again, not a washout. Those icons make things look so much worse than what they will be. Sunday, some sunshine, some clouds. Also, a mainly dry day, maybe a few isolated storms later in the day. But the highest chance of rain, I think, through the next 3 or 4 days looks like it'll come on Monday. But then we'll see. We're staying pretty warm, seasonable, all the way through the low 80s.
Focus more on the sunspots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's tough to do that, but not in that particular instance.
Thank you. Now let's take a look at what's coming up in action sports. Travis.
Candace, coming up here, why an ME grad was the perfect fit for the BU soccer coaching staff. Plus, why this past Monday was one of the hardest days of BMET's manager Pedro Lopez's coaching career. That's next.
This is Action Sports.
The BMETs return from the All-Star break tonight, hosting Trenton. But the team that will take NYSBA Stadium this evening looks significantly different than the one that was on the field the last time they played here in Binghamton 7 days ago. The Mets released infielders Dustin Lawley and Aderlin Rodriguez, as well as outfielder Eudy Pena yesterday. Manager Pedro Lopez said today the moves had nothing to do with any incident. He says they were made to clear room on the roster. He had to break the news to Lawley, Rodriguez, and Pena when the team got back from Portland on Monday, a night he calls one of the toughest in his coaching career.
Dustin, Adeline, and Pena, they were not only good players, they were good people. They were guys that were fun to be around, and they did everything they were supposed to do on the field and off the field. So there was no off the field issues, and like I said, they needed to make some roster changes, and they needed some spots, and just unfortunately, those 3 guys were the ones.
One player added to the roster was pitcher Rainey Lara. He's been sent down from AAA Las Vegas. BMET start a 4-game set with the Trenton Thunder tonight at 6:35. Maine Edwell grad Tommy Moon finished up his 5-year playing career with BU this past fall. But it won't be the end of his time in Vestal. The school announced Tuesday that Moon's been hired as an assistant coach for the men's soccer team. So instead of being a captain on the field, he'll be helping his former teammates from the sidelines next year. But the surroundings will still be familiar. Moon has played for Coach Paul Marcos since he was young. So this just seemed like the right fit.
He's played in our club since he was 11, so it's been a while since I haven't been with him. So, when he was graduating and we had an opportunity, I didn't really have to look any further than right in our own home.
He's the main reason why I'm the player that I was and the player that I am. I learned a lot from him as I was growing up, and I'm continuing to learn from him. Now I'm just learning sitting next to him on the sideline instead of out on the field. So I'm still trying to learn and take in as much as I possibly can.
The soccer team reports back for fall camp starting in a couple of weeks. And the Open Championship first round in the books at St. Andrews. Dustin Johnson stole the show early. He teed off before most of us were awake, but made plenty of noise. He fired a 7-under-65 today. He's your leader by 1 stroke. Jordan Spieth, the winner of the first 2 majors this year, is sitting 2 shots back at 5 under.
The ball so far.
And we'll be right back.